Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're returning, if you're new here, this is the place. We are doing a lot of learning as accountants and also information to help business people to manage their business well, information to help accounting students to evaluate and to also do better in their studies. So in this video, you want to be looking at different ways of evaluation of capital investment decisions. And from our previous video on uses of retained earnings, if you haven't checked that video, you need to do so to understand the different uses of retained earnings. So we said capital investments are investments that are long-term. The benefit accrued over a period of time. If this decision include decision maybe to move into new markets, to maybe to build a product line, to venture into new markets, a new product line, maybe to buy capital assets, buy a piece of land, or maybe to buy offices for the organization. So those are investments that the benefit is accrued over a period of time. They are long-term in nature. So if you want to know how to evaluate using the different methods, stay with me all the way to the end. This is Mumbua, your future CFO. So we're going to be looking at evaluation using NPV. And we believe that $1 today is better than $1 received like 5 years from now. So the first method that we're going to be evaluating is NPV, where we have the initial investment. That is the money that the owner puts into the project at period 0. So this is our initial investment. Then now we have the net cash inflows generated by the project. Year 1, we have 77,000, year 2, 77, year 3, 77, year 4, year 5, 85, year 6, 85, year 7, 85, year 8, 85. So this is a capital project with a period of 8 years. So the benefit of this project will be received over a period of 8 years. And the discount rate that we said you get it from the weighted average cost of capital of the organization. We have the different sources of capital, that is retained earnings, equity, and debt. You get the weighted average of the different sources. Then you're able to come up with the internal rate of return. Our handle rate is the minimum rate of return the organization accepts. So it's a little bit lower than the internal rate of return. And depending on the risk of the project, the discount rate can be adjusted depending on the risk of the project. So if we consider project riskier, we use a higher discount rate. If we consider a project less riskier, we use a lower discount rate. So in this example, we're going to be using a 14% discount rate, and we're discounting our future cash flows to present. So we're going to be going to our time value of money table. 14%, we get our discount rate. Like for example, year 1, 14% year 1. And we're using the present value of $. The reason why we're using present value of $, these cash flows are different for the different periods. So for example, year 1 is 8.77, year 2, 0.769, year 3, 0.675, all the way to year 7. to year 8, 0.351. I've already put the discount rates, but that is what you get the discount rate. You get the handle rate 14%, and then you get the discount rate corresponding to the period 1, period 2, period 3, all the way to period 8. So that is how you get the discount rate from the present, from the time value tables. Then now you get your net cash flows times the discount rate. You get your discounted cash flows. So this is the 77,000 you multiply by the discount rate. And you do for this the same for all the 8 period. Then the current value of our future cash flows is 371,000. To get our NPV, we get the present value minus the initial investment. So we get our NPV as 71,011. So let's say, for example, if our net cash flows were the same, let's say 77,000 over the period of the project, we should have used the annuity table. This is the annuity you're receiving the same amount over a period of time. So it could have been 14% for 8 years, which is, we would have multiplied by 4.639. Let me just put it somewhere here. 4.369. That is if it's annuity, but in our case, it is not, because you can say the cash flows are not the same for the period of the project. So you get that times your annuity. So let's say, for example, our annuity was 77,000. That is how you could have done it. But in our case, it is not. It is different because we have 77 and 85. So that is how you get your NPV, the present value of the future cash flows minus the initial investment at 14% discount rate. IRR, it's a discount rate that equates your present value to the initial investment. So our present value here needs to equal 300,000. So you use a higher discount rate. For example, if we use 20%, you come to your discount table, you take 20%, and this is the present value of $1. You take the discount rate, then you multiply. Then you're able to get the IRR, the internal rate of return of the project. So as an organization, we want a project that has an IRR that equate higher than what equates the NPV to 0. Profitability index. Profitability index, you get your discounted cash flow, you divide by the initial investment. Then now you're able to get your profitability index. Your payback period. This is payback period ignores time value of money. We have two payback period. There's also the payback period discounted, but in this case we are using the payback period. There is the payback period that ignores time value of money. So how many years it will take to recoup the 300,000? So if we sum up our net inflows at year 3, we'll have recovered 231. At year 4, 308. So it's gonna take between 3 and 4 years to get our original investment. So at the end of year 4, we will have recovered, equals to the sum of these three. So by the end of year 3, we'll have recovered 231,000, and the initial investment was 300. So I want to check how much will be the balance. So we need to recover 69. So you get 69, you divide by the total for year 4, 77. So it's gonna take 3 years, 0.89 years to recover our initial investment. So that is how you evaluate using the different methods. I said payback, there is the non-discounted and there is now the discounted. If it's discounted, you use the discounted cash flows. So let's say, for example, the discounted payback, we can just have it here. Payback discounted. So payback discounted, we need a summation of 300,000. So it's gonna be 5 years. So by the end of 5 years, we'll have recovered this much. By the end of 5 years, we've recovered 269. So how much do we need? We have 300, we've already recovered 268, so we need 31. So you take 31, you divide by 38. So that gives you, sorry, let me put this into bracket. So it's gonna take 5 years, 0.815, or maybe 81 years to recover using the payback discounted. So that is how you evaluate the project using the different methods. And as I said, each organization has its own criteria for evaluation. For example, you can say you need a positive NPV, you need an IRR of, let's say, like 16 whole 20%, a payback period of 4 years. So depending on the threshold, the organization, they evaluate the project. If it meets their threshold, the project is good, they proceed with it. So that is how you do the evaluation, and I hope you've learned something new from this video. Kindly share, consider subscribing, commenting. Let's meet in my next video. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end. Be blessed.